People laugh when I tell them a joke changed my entire life. But the truth is, the moment I joked, "You should move in with me," I had no idea she would show up the very next day, standing at my door with a tiny suitcase and whispering, "Hope there's room." And what followed? I wasn't ready for it. Not then. Not ever. It started on one of those evenings when your heart feels heavier than your body can carry. I was cleaning my small apartment after my shift when Maya, my neighbor from down the hall, knocked to return a charger she borrowed. She was smiling as always, bright, warm, the kind of person whose presence feels like stepping into sunlight after a long winter. We talked a little too long that night, both of us leaning on the doorway like two tired souls trying to pretend life wasn't wearing us down. I knew she was going through something. She didn't say it, but her eyes did. So to lighten the mood, I joked, "You should just move in with me. I cook better anyway." She laughed, loud, real, and the sound felt like oxygen. We said goodnight, and I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. The next afternoon, I opened my door after work and froze. Maya stood there. With a suitcase, a pillow, and her cat. "Hope there's room," she said softly. For a moment, I thought she was joking back. But her smile wasn't playful, it was shaking. Her eyes were red. She looked like someone who'd been holding herself together with tape and prayers. "Maya, what happened?" She didn't answer at first. She just whispered, "Can I come in?" Of course I let her. She sat on my couch holding her pillow like a shield while her cat curled between us. It took her almost 20 minutes to speak. Finally she said, "I didn't leave my place. I was pushed out of it." Her boyfriend, the one she never talked about, had turned into someone unrecognizable. Angry. Controlling. She had been trying to leave for months but couldn't gather the courage. Last night was the breaking point. She looked up at me with trembling eyes. "When you joked about moving in, it sounded like the first safe place I'd been offered in years." I didn't know what to say. Her pain sat heavy in the room, and I felt useless, but determined. "You can stay here," I said. "As long as you need." Her shoulders fell in relief. A quiet cry slipped out, the kind of tear someone hides for too long. The next few days were strange in a beautiful way. She helped clean the place, cooked with me, shared little jokes. I'd come home tired and find her humming in the kitchen, or curled up on the couch with her cat waiting for me. It felt peaceful. It felt like home suddenly had a heartbeat. But every night, when she thought I wasn't noticing, she would stare at the window with the fear of someone who expected the past to break through the door. I wanted to protect her, but I didn't know how. Then one night she whispered, "Do you think I'm ruining your life by being here?" I shook my head. "No. You're reminding me I have one." And for the first time, she smiled with her whole heart. "Peace doesn't last when fear still has your address." It came knocking one evening, literally. A loud pounding at the door, her ex's voice, calling her name. She froze. Her cat darted under the couch. I saw her hands trembling like she had electricity running under her skin. "Stay behind me," I whispered. He shouted, accused, demanded. He said she owed him her life. He said she couldn't live without him. His voice was a storm meant to break her open. I stepped in front of Maya and said through the door, "She's not coming with you." Silence, then more yelling, but what broke me was seeing Maya gripping her pillow, eyes filled with years of swallowed fear. I held her hand. She squeezed it like it was the only thing keeping her from collapsing. I called the police. Gave her the courage she didn't think she had. When they escorted him away, Maya's legs gave out. She sat on the floor shaking, tears falling without sound. I knelt beside her. "You're safe," I whispered. "No," she said, voice cracking. "I'm safe because I'm here." That night, she didn't go to the guest room, she didn't ask, she just quietly sat beside me on the couch, resting her head on my shoulder like she'd finally found the strength to breathe. In the morning, she made breakfast. Bad breakfast. Burnt eggs. Oversalted toast, but she laughed, and I laughed, and the apartment felt alive in a way it never had before. A week passed. Point 2. Her laughter became louder. Her eyes lighter. She started going out, finding work, rebuilding herself piece by piece. Point 1 evening, while we ate dinner, she smiled at me, the soft kind, the kind you feel in your chest. The day I came here, I was terrified. I could tell. But now, she paused. Now I'm terrified of leaving. I didn't want her to leave either. She took a breath, eyes shining. "Do you think there's really room for me here?" I looked around the apartment, messy, warm, full of her presence. Then I looked into her eyes, hopeful, healing, brave. "There's room," I said. There always was. She moves closer, resting her forehead against mine. No confessions. No rush, just two people finding peace in a world that had given them too much pain. Sometimes love doesn't arrive with fireworks, sometimes it shows up the day after a joke, with a suitcase, a pillow, and a trembling smile that just wants to feel safe, and sometimes, that's enough to start a forever neither of you planned, but both of you finally deserve.